It's day 7 of 10 days with Catherine Howard, and today we're thinking about her entry into court life. And excuse the lack of face, hay fever is not my friend right now. So late in 1539, before Anne of Cleves has even arrived in England, Catherine enters the court as a lady in waiting for Anne. So she's there before Anne is ready to act in her service. Now, as we know, this position was probably secured through her uncle, Thomas, so the 3rd Duke of Norfolk, the nasty Norfolk. But there's no reason at this point to just assume he put her there in order to catch the king's eye, because Henry hasn't even met Anne of Cleves yet. There's no reason to assume this marriage won't work out. But just Catherine being at court is good for him and good for her. On the 3rd of January 1540, Catherine attended Anne of Cleves' formal reception at Blackheath, and she was most likely present at the other important events such as the Londoners' Welcome in February and the May Day festivities. So during this time she would have frequently been in close proximity to Henry VIII in these public occasions, and according to later testimony from the Dowager Duchess, Henry may have noticed her as early as the 19th of December 1539 when he arrived at Greenwich to await Anne's arrival. So he may have noticed Catherine even before Anne arrived. With Catherine actually in residence at the palace, Henry had ample opportunity to see her and to admire her. Before Henry's even divorced from Anne of Cleves, he gives Catherine some gifts as a sign of his growing affection. The first one I find a little bit odd. So on the 24th of April 1540, he gives Catherine the possessions of 2 executed murderers. So interesting little love token there. And on the 18th of May 1540, he gives her 23 sarsenet quilts, like a thin sheer material, as a personal gift, and these show her favour and kind of the beginning of her ascent. And on the 20th of June 1540, Anne of Cleves, who's still queen at this point, complains to Carl Hast, who's the ambassador of Cleves, that the king is attracted to Catherine. Hast then writes home to the Duke, saying the relationship has been going on for months. However, the French ambassador, Charles de Marillac, doesn't actually note her as a royal favourite until July, which suggests that she was known about in courtly circles before any foreign diplomats may have caught on. On the 22nd of June 1540, Anne of Cleves finds out that Catherine has left the court, which may have pleased her quite a lot to start with, but then 2 days later, on the 24th of June, the Privy Council order Anne to move to Richmond Palace, and this frees Henry to pursue Catherine more openly. Henry began to visit Catherine at the Lambeth residence of her grandmother, Agnes Tilney, the Dowager Duchess. Still can't say that. It's likely that the Duchess was actually quite concerned about this, as she knew all about her background with Derham. It was later suggested that Henry and Catherine were entertained at the Southwark home of the Bishop of Winchester, which suggests an active and possibly intimate courtship. And then on the 9th of July 1540, Henry VIII's marriage to Anne of Cleves was annulled, clearing the way for Catherine. And if you want to know a bit more about the sort of annulment process with Anne of Cleves, you can go back and watch my videos on her. So there we go, that's where we'll leave Catherine for today. Join me tomorrow when we will be talking about her marriage.